Tomorrow is primary day, and joining me now, Jack Ciattarelli, the only endorsed candidate by President Donald Trump in the Republican primary. Jack, how are you?
I'm doing great, Rich. Great to be with you.
Great to be with you. So now the president endorsed you, then he did a teletown hall with you. Then over the weekend, he put out another endorsement of you. This is 3 total now, and said the following. I'll read it on Truth Social. The great state of New Jersey has a very important primary coming up on Tuesday. Get out and vote for Jack Ciattarelli, who has my complete and total endorsement. His opponents are going around saying they have my endorsement, which is not true. I don't even know who they are. We can't play games when it comes to elections. And New Jersey is a very important state that we must win. The whole world is watching. Vote for Jack Ciattarelli to make New Jersey great again, all caps. Jack, I mean, he's not only doubled down, he's tripled down now on his support for you.
Rich, I'm honored to have that endorsement, and I'm also so very happy that he's all in. Listen, he knows New Jersey's in play, and he knows I'm the only guy that can win in November. And this is only going to it's not only going to send a loud and clear message throughout New Jersey, it's going to send a loud and clear message throughout the nation that the far left and their ultra-liberal policies are being rejected outright.
So I saw the Republican National Chairman Michael Whatley today in New York, and I was at Fox News, and we talked about New Jersey. And I mean, they're all in. They're convinced that we can win in November. They're really positive, and they are going to be behind this race 100%. That's a great sign.
They know we're the spark that lit the fuse back in 21 with our very, very close race. Of course, the president performed well here last election day without even campaigning in New Jersey. And they see what's happening with the party registrations. Rich, you know this. Over the past 44 months, new Republican registrations have outpaced new Democratic registrations significantly, and the gap between the two parties has gotten better for Republicans by close to 300,000. We're in position.
Yeah, and this time around, nobody's going to fall for those lying polls. I mean, to this day, I'm still angry at that Monmouth poll that came out with a week to go, which said Murphy had a double-digit lead. I mean, that was such a lie, and people stayed home because of that poll. And this time around, nobody's falling for that nonsense. No one's going to fall for that. So that's good. I mean, I'm glad we've learned our lesson. In other words, people have learned their lesson, Jack.
They're not even in the polling business anymore because of how badly they screwed that one up, Rich. But I'll tell you, as I go around the state, people are crying out for change. And I'm not just talking about Republicans. Just today, I continued with my diner tour. We were in Middlesex County at the Old Bridge Diner. And a gentleman came up to me and said, Jack, I've been a Democrat my whole life. No more. I don't know who they are anymore. I don't recognize them. I don't like their positions. I'll be voting for you. And I hear that over and over again, Rich.
Well, that's great to hear. And, I mean, I get it. They're New Jersey Democrats who consider themselves moderate or mainstream or whatever. I mean, they had to watch as Phil Murphy declared he was going to make New Jersey the California of the East Coast. Well, look at what's happening in California and look at the energy prices. And, the other day, the arrogance of this guy to come out and say, we're going to give you $100 of your money, by the way, not his money, to try to help with the energy costs that he completely created the situation, Jack, as you know, by shutting down all the coal-fired plants, we were an energy exporting state. And then he has the audacity to turn around and go, here's $100 of your own money.
Rich, it's infuriating. Here they go again. They take money out of your right-hand pocket when they screw up, and then they want to put a little bit back in your left-hand pocket, call it something else, add insult to injury by mailing it out 3 weeks before the election. They plan on sending these $100 energy rebate checks out in October. And I'm telling you, here's my message to the people of New Jersey, Rich. Do me a favor. Cash the check and then take the stub and stick it right in their ear and vote Republican this November.
But they're going to send it out in October right before the election. That's outrageous.
It's disgusting, but it's the same old game with them. They screwed up the energy markets, as you said. He shut down coal. He wouldn't burn natural gas. He didn't expand our footprint in South Jersey with the nuclear plants, and here we are today. Meanwhile, Pennsylvania's burning 7 coal-burning plants, their Democratic governor is. They're burning natural gas to produce electricity. That's their Democratic governor. And all that dirty air comes into New Jersey. What have we gained? Less electricity, higher rates, the air's no cleaner. So we'll get back to burning natural gas under Governor Ciattarelli. We'll expand the nuclear footprint in South Jersey. We'll expand our solar capabilities. We'll get the monthly electricity rates down, and we will become an electricity exporter once again.
And no wind farms ever, right?
Ever. The president put a temporary halt on that. We're so very grateful. I'll make it permanent. on day one with my energy master plan. And, you know, Rich, he's so very in tune. I mean, he's anti-wind. He knows New Jerseyans are. He's beaten up on the New York Democrats over that congestion pricing plan, and he's willing to quadruple the SALT deduction on our federal tax returns. You know what that means to those of us that pay the highest property taxes in the nation.
Well, he's just taking an issue away from the Democrats this November because whoever's running for governor on the Democrat side would use that issue as the linchpin. So by the president doing that, by Congress doing that, as much as it might irritate people who live in red states, he's taking that issue off the table, which really helps the Republicans up and down the ballot this November in New Jersey.
Rich, I don't care who the nominee is for the Democratic side. Every single one of them is complicit in Phil Murphy's failed policies. He's failed on economics. He continues to raise taxes and spending. He's failed on education. We just slipped from 2 to 12 on National Report Card. He has failed in law enforcement. Look at the flash mobs on our Jersey Shore. He's failed in the interior of the state with all the overdevelopment. He's failed on energy. We've already spoken about that. But don't worry, Rich, when it's all over, we can all go home and smoke Phil Murphy's marijuana and get high. That's his legacy.
Jack Ciattarelli is with me. The primary election is tomorrow. He is the only candidate in the race endorsed by President Donald Trump, who has tripled down on his support for Jack. Jack, obviously, we're watching what's happening in California. Crazy protests there. You have said on day one you end New Jersey's sanctuary state status. You cooperate with the federal government. You help President Trump, who, by the way, I mean, even CNN had to go on about how popular the president is on this issue of immigration.
You bet he is. And it's the reason why he's out polling Phil Murphy by 7 points here in New Jersey. He's done his job by securing the border. It's my job to secure New Jersey by getting rid of sanctuary cities, us being a sanctuary state, and me appointing, Rich, an attorney general who's not going to turn around and be suing the president for his executive orders. Every single governor, I don't care what their party, every single governor, I believe, has an obligation to work in partnership with the president to make the country safe again, make our individual states safe again. This is the primary thing he ran on. He won all 7 swing states. He won their electoral college. He won the popular vote. He won the House. He won the Senate. What is it people don't get? I mean, you know, when Cory Booker is going to go down to El Salvador and advocate for a guy that we deported who was a criminal, here illegally into a criminal, when Ras Baraka is trespassing at a detention center where we're detaining people that were here illegally that committed a crime. Rich, what exactly is it we're protesting?
Yeah, I mean, Booker is such a grandstander, Jack, as we all know. It's amazing the Democrats want to die on this hill. It really is. But dying they are, like that guy who came up to you at the diner, Jack. There is a town in South Jersey, I think it's Morristown, if I'm not mistaken. I read an article. They're about to get 250, quote-unquote, affordable housing units. People are losing their minds because the town is already bursting at the seams. The school's bursting at the seams. This has to stop. I mean, we can't have this.
We've got an even more egregious example of how failed that Mount Laurel housing doctrine policy is, Rich. Tonight in Cranberry at the town hall, a couple hundred people will be showing up because the Democrats that control the town are now, through eminent domain, going to condemn a 175-acre farm that's been owned by the same family for a couple of years in order to have the space they need to build affordable housing. I mean, the fact that they've got no space to build should be evidence enough that the policy is terrible to begin with. But we're now going to take a family farm away from a family, 175 acres. I mean, this is what's going on, Rich. They'll take Garden right out of the Garden State with this housing policy. It all stops when I'm governor.
I mean, what legal justification can they use to seize somebody's private property to build housing? I mean, that is so outrageous to me. What an absolute abuse of eminent domain power. That story, when I first heard about it, Jack, it infuriated me absolutely to the core. I mean, this is private property rights we're talking about. This is farming rights we're talking about. Now you're going to get rid of a farm to build all these houses and then the infrastructure that comes with it and water and sewer and more roads and more buildings. I mean, it is so friggin' stupid and unconstitutional. So I'm glad the residents are going to speak out. And then hopefully when you're governor, you can just do something about it if it's not stopped already.
There's only one good thing about this, Rich. It calls attention to how abusive they are to achieve their social engineering agenda to put high-density, low-income housing everywhere, even where there's no infrastructure, there's no mass transit, there's no jobs. You're just putting more idling cars on the road, which flies in the face of their position on climate change. The whole damn thing is so hypocritical. But again, it changes on day one. And let's not forget, I know you know this, Rich, but I, as the next governor, get to appoint 2 new state Supreme Court justices, one of which will be the Chief Justice. And I'm not just going with Republicans. We need conservative philosophy on that bench. When you take a look at school funding, when you take a look at affordable housing, allowing Phil Murphy to borrow to balance the budget, we've got Republicans on that bench, and these have been unanimous decisions at times. So we don't just need Republicans. We need some conservative thinkers on that bench.
I agree with you 100%, Jack. We have been let down by Republicans in the past big time, and I'm glad that is the philosophy you're going to use when you appoint these justices, because they're going to be there for a long time, and make decisions that will have impacts for generations. And too many of them have let us down over the years, and we can't have that if we're going to change things. It has to be the kind of fundamental change that can change New Jersey and keep people here for a decade, which is the other point I wanted to ask you about, which is the coattails issue. I mean, one of the reasons the president, when I was listening in on that teletown hall meeting he did with you, Jack Ciattarelli, about his endorsement of you, he said that you have the coattails to be able to flip the assembly and make that Republican. Because everybody should know that it's not just the governor that's up on the ballot in November. It's also the entire New Jersey State Assembly. And the president believes you have the coattails to do that, which is part of the reason why he's backed you 3 different times on 3 different occasions, Jack Ciattarelli. So if that happens, then we're one step closer now to actually making the kind of lasting change that we can do by changing the law and not just having to worry about executive orders.
Absolutely, Rich. He knows I'm going to bring the necessary positive energy to the campaign. He knows we're going to raise the necessary money. We've done that in the past. We're going to do it again this time. But he also knows about my coattails. Back in 21, with that wind in our face, we flipped 8 seats in the legislature, the most successful night for Republicans in 34 years. We beat the longest sitting state Senate president in the country. Rich, I'm telling you, I can flip at least 13 seats this year. We do that with the wind in our back. We get something we haven't had in 25 years, a Republican majority in our state assembly. It's time.
Well, you don't stop working. I mean, that's the thing. You are a very, very hardworking guy.
No, man.
There's only 2 ways to run: scared and unopposed, and that's how you're running. So, I mean, good for you on that. And what were you up to this weekend? You mentioned the diner. Where else have you been? Where are you going tomorrow too on Election Day?
Yeah, so Saturday we started out in Atlantic County, went to Cape May County. From Cape May, we went over to Cumberland, then to Gloucester, and then up to Burlington, and finished the day in Somerset. Sunday, we did the same thing all around the state. Today, we did a couple of diner tour stops, and we're shaking hands with folks. Tomorrow, we'll get out there and just continue to remind people that if you want change, you got to make a change, but you don't get a chance to do that unless you vote.
I am so sorry you had to spend 2 days with Mike Donahue. I am really sorry for that. I mean, that is, a punishment that no man should have to go through. Jack, 3 times President Trump has come out and backed you 3 different times. So I'll give you the final word on what you want to say tomorrow to people who may be on the fence as they're heading into the polls tomorrow on Election Day in the New Jersey Republican primary.
Well, I tell people, Rich, the Ciattarellis have been here for 100 years, and 3 generations of us have achieved our American dream right here in New Jersey. So when people ask me why I'm running for governor, I want today's New Jerseyans and future generations of New Jersey to feel confident they, too, can achieve the American dream right here in New Jersey. Unfortunately, today, people are worried about getting the right education, the job of their dreams, how to raise a family here, how to start a business here, whether or not they can retire here. Those are the things that my parents and I felt pretty confident about. People don't feel that same confidence today. I've got to restore that confidence, and we can. I really believe leadership matters. People don't have to worry about me getting distracted. I don't want to go to Washington. This is my final destination. They don't have to worry about me being owned by the special interest. I'm not. And the bottom line is I don't need the job, but I want the job because I believe we can fix this. And so we're going to get after it. We're going to make our case right through November, and I really do believe this time around we're going to deliver a win. So I ask people to jump on the Ciattarelli train.
Jack, where can people find you?
Jack4nj.com. That's the number 4. Jack4nj.com. That's also our handle on social media platforms and the like. So pretty easy to find us and keep track of us, Rich, but we're out there every day.
Well, again, you are the only candidate in this race endorsed by President Donald Trump. He wanted me to remind everybody of that today. I've done my job. Jack, Best of luck to you tomorrow.
Rich, thank you, buddy.
All right, my friend. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.